Former Dallas Cowboys star receiver Drew Pearson joins us. You just wrote a book, Hail Mary, the Drew Pearson story. In that book, you claim there is a bias against former Cowboy players when it comes to Hall of Fame voters. What's your basis for that charge?
Well, my basis is based on the fact that there's a lot of Cowboy players that deserve that type of recognition that haven't gotten it. In the last couple of years, few Cowboy players have gotten close to that Hall of Fame, getting over the hump into the Hall of Fame, but have fallen short. And in situations with Rayfield Wright, Cliff Harris, and Bob Hayes a couple years ago, they could have taken all three of those guys, and the only guys that didn't make it were Cowboy football players. Also last year, in the case of in the voting in the case of Michael Irvin, he certainly has the credentials to do that, and he did not get in as well. But even beyond that, there's a lot of former Cowboy players. Chuck Halley, 6 Pro Bowls, 4-time All-Pro, Super Bowl MVP, Harvey Martin, Super Bowl MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, 4 Pro Bowls, Rayfield Wright, Cliff Harris, Drew Pearson, Ed Too Tall Jones. There's a lot of Cowboys that deserve that recognition or aren't even getting the call for that.
You mentioned Drew Pearson, that's you. Why should you be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I think I've had the credentials to warrant that type of recognition. A lot of people are telling me I deserve that type of recognition. The things I've done on the field and what I meant to the Cowboy organization and team environment, I think speaks for itself. When you look at the Hall of Fame committee's all-decade team of the 1970s, the 2 receivers that made that team were Lynn Swann and Drew Pearson. Well, Lynn Swann's in the Hall of Fame. Why not Drew Pearson?
Well, the Steelers have 9 players from their dynasty years. The Cowboys with 5. Now, Drew, had the Cowboys beaten the Steelers in either one of the 2 Super Bowls that they lost, do you think then that things might be more equal?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it should be predicated on that. You know, we had success. We had our own individual success. Just because we lost to the Steelers twice in Super Bowls shouldn't diminish what we accomplished individually or as a team. So, you know, there's a lot of players in the Hall of Fame that never played in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of players in the Hall of Fame that never even got close to a Super Bowl. So to say that be a reason for me not being in the Hall of Fame or more former Cowboys not being in the Hall of Fame, I don't think it justifies that.
Hey, what about Art Monk and the Redskins? 4 Super Bowls from, I believe, 83 to 91. They won 3 of them. The only player from any of those Redskins teams in the Hall of Fame is John Riggins. Is there a Redskins conspiracy?
Well, I don't know if there's a conspiracy. I don't know if they have enough players that are eligible for that. But there's certainly, Art Monk certainly should be in the Hall of Fame, you know. What makes him Hall of Famer maybe 2 years or next year down the road as opposed to right now? I mean, his credentials are going to be the same. What he meant to the Washington Redskins is going to be the same. So there's no question he should be in the Hall of Fame. We think that we should be in the Hall of Fame, but we're not getting that recognition, whether it's Cowboys, whether it's Redskins, whether it's Giants. There's a lot of players that deserve that recognition, including an Art Monk, including a Harry Carson, including a Rayfield Wright, a Cliff Harris, a Bob Hayes, a Drew Pearson with the Dallas Cowboys.
Hail Mary's the book. Drew Pearson's the author. Good luck and thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Perhaps some of the Cowboys' Hall of Fame woes are based on a perception that Tom Landry's teams were more of a product of a computerized organizational formula than of great individual football players. Or maybe the Cowboys are getting just what they deserve from Hall of Fame voters. It's 1st and 10 as Cold Pizza's Skip Bayless and Woody Page air it out with Jay Crawford.
Thank you very much. Skip, Drew Pearson raised the issue. Is there a bias against the Cowboys?
No, but I do think there's a bias against Drew Pearson, who definitely, Woodrow, belongs in the Hall of Fame. I had the privilege of covering this man. He made more big stage, big moment catches from the Hail Mary to the Clint Longley Thanksgiving Day touchdown bomb catch than any receiver I've ever watched in the NFL. He belongs in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure about the others he makes a case for.
Skip, I didn't have any privilege to do anything with the Cowboys, but I've looked at it from afar as someone who is on the Pro Football Hall of Fame committee, and I've been there for a number of years. I think there is a prejudice against Cowboys. I voted for Bob Hayes and Rayfield Wright last year. I voted this year for Michael Irvin, and I think that people do not want a lot of Cowboys in the Hall of Fame. There are 13 who've played their part or all of their careers, and I believe there should be even more based on the storied history of the Cowboys. So I think people who just don't want Cowboys in the Hall of Fame.
All right, guys, thank you very much. That's going to do it from our Cold Pizza Studios in New York. Now, let's go back to SportsCenter.
We'll talk about his Hall of Fame career and Ricky Williams.